All right, let's move on to question number 3. How can we help our 17-year-old daughter who has overcome SM build confidence in larger peer groups where she struggles to make herself heard? She wants to connect with a group of talkative girls in her class, but feels overwhelmed and unable to express herself, which is affecting her confidence.
Oh, interesting you brought this up, right? See, confidence. So here's the first step is comfort and connection. It sounds to me, and progress doesn't tend to occur in a group.
Large group.
Well, yeah, in a group in general, right, a large group. So maybe a group of girls that she's not necessarily comfortable with or has a connection with. The fact that she wants that connection is fabulous because that's saying, hey, I want to be able to do these things. That's great because, as you know, with teens or a lot of children as they get older, they become somewhat avoidant if they can't do something. So it's wonderful that she's worked through her selective mutism a lot where she's been able to find her voice. But for those that have gone many years, and this is a 17-year-old, what does tend to lag behind even when they find their voice. For example, did you have a good weekend? Yes. What'd you do this weekend? Not much, or went to a football game. You don't get a lot of initiation, a lot of elaboration, a lot of expression, conversation starters, conversation expanders. That's much harder for kids and for individuals. So those are the areas. What I would say is that most individuals find their people. I say they find their peeps through their areas of interest. So I'm happy she's interested, but just to walk up to a group is a very difficult thing to make conversation. So for anybody, any human, think of it. If you go to a, like, I mean, for you, you do tons of networking, right? When you have a role in that networking event, you're not as worried about making a friend there. You're making a connection through networking, but let's say you're leading that, like you're a leader in that networking event. It's very different than when you're on even keel with everybody walking
Mhm.
in. But then you see somebody like from the corner of the room that's, hey, they live in your building, or they work for the same company as you in a different department, or you know what, they're in your age range and everybody else is a lot older. Like you find some need, some way to connect. And so in this case, there's girls in their class, they're talkative girls. I would say to have an activity, to have something to join with them and not think of it as as a huge group, but maybe an activity, a club where there's a focus. So it's always over the task that they're doing that connections are made when you're older. It's hard. Or if she's like, no, I just want to be able to say hello. I will say it's typically pretty awkward, but we certainly, you know, can work on conversation starters. It's usually over, again, something you're doing. It's awkward for someone that doesn't have a connection to go up to a group of kids, especially teenagers, to say, hi, how was your weekend, when you don't really know them or have a connection. So the first step is comfort connection, which fuels confidence and communication. So having a task, a club, an activity, working with teachers to pair and group. So I have a girl, she's about 16 years old. She loves basketball. She joined the basketball team. Didn't have a ton of friends on the basketball team, but she joined the basketball team. We educated the coach on, because it was through the school, on comfort precedes communication and to do the pairing and grouping. And a couple of these girls were in some of her classes, so we worked with the teachers the same way. So we paired and grouped her with 2 to 3 of the girls on the basketball team. We found out, not only do 2 or 3 of them play basketball, but 1 or 2 of them also love art. So there was an art activity that they could do to kind of make a banner for the basketball. They did it together. Well, don't you know, through those pairing and grouping, through the art banner design club, sitting with in a couple of the classes, the child had a much easier time because it was over the activity, like give me the ball or hey, what's up? Like a more natural. It's very awkward to just go up to a group of kids. Think of
Yeah.
yourself when you were in high school. And let's say
Yeah.
you were in school and there were about 5 kids together and you didn't really have that connection. It's kind of awkward. And when you're what we call neurotypical, you realize that it makes your anxiety worse. So let's pick an activity, a task. Let's work with the
Right.
teachers. Let's talk with her about it. She's 17. What would she like to do? I work with college age kids all the time about joining a club and we go on the internet together. We pick a club. We may email the professor and say, hey, I'd like to join this club, or, sign up that way. And we work through the conversation starters. We work through the conversation expanders. So this child needs to be in therapy to work through all these things. We
Yeah.
have things called action plans. Where are you going? Who's going to be there? What can the person ask? What can you ask? What's your answer to their question? So we work through it. And sometimes we call them sandwich questions. We have I am and I just statements. It's hi, how are you? Good. I'm, going to the basketball game after school. How about you? Like we work with them on these conversations. Brandon, most people think lower anxiety and voila, it all occurs, and it doesn't. For many individuals that are older, not the 3 or 4 year olds and 5 year olds, but the older individuals, they truly need more work on initiation, expansion of conversation, and continuing on through a lot of the things I just talked about.